Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and what a surprise having one of my favorite guests from many moons ago. I can't believe it's been so long. It's joining us, and that's Dana Bristol-Smith, the founder and executive director of Leap to Success. It's been 10 years.
I can't believe it, and we're still so young, Drew. How do we do it?
Because we get younger. Our numbers go down to zero on this. You look terrific, and it's so good seeing you. When I saw the name pop up, I go, man, that is so cool. Before we introduce your colleague who's going to be joining us as well, she's promised to do a little bit of singing on the show over here. She's just left the studio. No, we're teasing. We're honored to have Brittany Dela-Cruz, a graduate of Leap to Confidence and Transformational Leadership Program on as well. We'll get into that in a few seconds. What is the mission of Leap to Success?
Well, our mission is to educate and empower women who are rebuilding their lives from domestic violence, homelessness, and other major life challenges to reach their greatest potential.
Exactly. So bless your heart for doing that. Year 10?
Well, we actually started 2008 as a volunteer project.
Gotcha.
And then became a real organization in 2013. So more than 10 years and growing.
And that is fantastic. Of course, you were a real organization in 2008 as well on this. So how does the program work?
Well, the two main programs.
Right.
The first one's called Leap to Confidence.
Right.
And we started this in 2011 in downtown San Diego with women who are domestic violence survivors and women struggling with homelessness. So some of our original community partners were Father Joe's Villages, YWCA of San Diego County. And Leap to Confidence is helping women take the next step from crisis, from trauma, in their healing journey to now getting back out in the world. So whether that's towards education or employment or starting their own business, Leap to Confidence over 6 weeks gives them the confidence to do that.
Right. We have a graduate of the program, Brittany Dela-Cruz. Thanks for coming into the studio.
Yes.
I really appreciate your courage for doing this. Not easy to do this as well on this. How did you find out about Leap to Success and especially the Leap to Confidence program?
Well, in 2019, I was actually living at a women's domestic violence shelter in downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was escaping a toxic relationship.
Sure.
And so where I was, I thought I could get myself out of it since I was in it for a very long time.
Right.
I ended up getting a referral from a case manager, and I was really pulling teeth trying to get myself in because I was like, I don't need a support group. I can do it on my own.
Sure.
And what I realized is I've learned a lot of tools. I got through the program. I went through Leap to Confidence, and I was able to learn a lot of different tools to get me back to where I needed to go. So back in the right direction.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you, and what a phenomenal success story. And this is something that should be shouted out from the hillsides 24/7, 365, every single year on this aspect of it. Do you think it's, pretty common, folks like you, Brittany, that think, I can do this on myself, let me give it a shot. I do need some support on that. You think that's pretty common, how people feel that way?
Yes, I truly believe a lot of people who are in these situations
Sure.
or find themselves getting out of a domestic violence relationship need that support and might not often sense that they need that until they recognize the type of community that they're surrounded with and that support. And that's what Leap to Confidence was able to provide for me. And and the beautiful thing about Leap to Success as an entire organization is they still have support groups even after the program. And what's unique about those support groups is you have a group of women in this community that's been built who have this common understanding of tools that they could utilize to help them on different challenges that change in life. So it's amazing, and it's beautiful to be a part of that.
Well, and I imagine as well, and Dana, you can address this as well, but I'll start with Brittany on this, and we talk about this quite a bit. We can't talk enough about great programs like Leap to Success. There's a lot of these that are so important for 75,000 different reasons. But certainly, game one, job one is to work with you, Brittany, and get you out of that situation and the confidence moving forward in other areas. But think about the other people in your network that this has benefited. New spouses or new whatever the case may be, partners and kids and aunts and uncles and friends and all this. Every one of theirs has benefited from what you've done.
Oh yeah, Drew. I totally. My life has changed. Right. I didn't have much of a family connection before 2019. So after I went through Leap to Confidence, I have a whole new link with my family. I have a whole new relationship with my family. I have my own family, Drew, and I never thought I'd be able to have any kids with a previous relationship. I never thought that was possible. So I'm now living into this beautiful possibility with, I have a loving husband. I get to experience what love is, a healthy relationship and a marriage is, or even to be able to say, oh my God, I'm married.
Listen, you're giving me chills even thinking about this, and Dan, I'm pretty much the same way. You've seen these stories. How many folks do you serve a year or through since you've been doing this?
Well, more than 2,000 women have gone through Leap to Confidence, and we've reached more than 2,500 women total doing this. But you think about, just like Brittany, as you mentioned, the extended family and the ripples out to the children and the spouses. And for women to really have their voice and say what's important to them, what they deserve, to know what respect is, to know what respect is not, and then to have the tools to, say yes or no and have the confidence to do that makes all the difference.
It makes a huge difference for so many different reasons. We're chatting with Dana Bristol-Smith. She's the founder and executive director of Leap to Success, joined by one of her phenomenal graduates, Brittany Dela-Cruz, of the Leap to Confidence and Transformation Leadership Program. You talked about some of the groups that you have worked with. Do you still work with Father Joe's Villages and folks like that?
We do. And, what's changed since the pandemic is our Leap to Confidence program is now on Zoom. We haven't yet been able to go back in person because the women they're not signing up to be in the classroom. Childcare is an issue, transportation is an issue. So Zoom has increased the accessibility. So whether someone's living at a shelter or a transitional housing or on their own, they have access now. They can take the class on their phone or an iPad or a computer, and they don't need childcare. So they have that time. More than 60 agencies are referring clients to Leap to Confidence.
Wow.
And we've just started a nationwide expansion because we want to share this powerful curriculum with organizations across the country. And there are now 2 organizations that have already signed on, rolling out their own programs. Thistle Farms in Nashville, Tennessee, and Goodwill of the Southern Piedmont in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
And we're talking to other organizations, and our next trainer certification program runs in July.
Right.
So we're just excited to roll this out across the country.
So, the Leap to Confidence program, you said 6 weeks, is that right?
Yes.
Is it every day for 6 weeks?
It's once a week.
Once a week,
and
okay.
What's kind of miraculous is that it's a 2-hour class. It meets once a week.
Yeah.
And then the women have what we call practice opportunities during the week, which is a fancy term for homework.
Right.
And it's to use what they've learned and, use it with these kids, use their communication skills, use empowering language, use positive affirmations. And it makes such a difference because it ripples out to their kids. It teaches them how to have positive, healthy relationships, what that looks like and what that doesn't look like.
Yeah, that's so important. And, for people who've never been in Brittany's position, unfortunately, there's a lot of folks that fall under that, sad to say, in that vein. When we have some of our other friends on that deal in domestic violence, my question is always the same: where are we with this? And unfortunately, it's not going down. And who knows if it's caused by the pandemic? Is it caused because San Diego's not the cheapest place in the world to live? that caused some financial strain as well on this. But, Brittany, you're so impressive for many different reasons. You should be taking over this podcast because you're very good you're very good on radio and all that business. But it must have been just an eye-opener that, especially the previous situation you were in, very, very difficult for so many different reasons. And now, boy, this is how people should be acting. They can love and not go haywire when something happens. That must have been a little foreign to you. And is this really happening in a positive way, correct?
Right. Yeah, I feel very empowered. It's amazing to have awareness on what I'm choosing and how I get to create my life. Right. I get to own my story and share it without feeling the concern of being judged for saying that. And that was huge for me because I shamed myself for a lot of reasons on those choices. And I would constantly bombard my own thoughts with, why didn't I just leave? Why didn't I do this? And I'm quite sure there's a lot of things for a lot of women who try to escape these toxic relationships, who go through these things and don't realize there's support, there's knowledge and a way to get through that. And that's what Leap to Confidence has. That's what Leap to Success has.
Well, you're the street cred, and that's the most important part about it because you've lived this, you've done it, and here you are being such a great advocate of it. When we come back from break, I want to talk, more about that, about when you meet some folks that were in the situation you used to be in. How do you talk to them and say, no, this stuff does work, because in their mind they go, I don't know how I'm going to ever get out of this situation. And the other thing, I think it's so important. We talk about this quite a bit when we have organizations like Leap to Success and others that are dealing with domestic violence. People always think it has to do something with physical violence, and of course it's not only physical violence. It's going to be mental stress. It's going to be withholding things from people. You feel you can't get out of a relationship as well, and I think that's important to talk about. And then we always save time, as Dana knows, at the second half of the show. What can we do to support your efforts, yours, certainly specifically, Brittany, and of course the organization as a whole. So we'll deal with that when we come back. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Very, very good. We're going to be right back with our friends from Leap to Success. Dana Bristol-Smith, he's the founder and executive director, joined by Brittany Dela-Cruz, graduate of the Leap to Confidence and Transformation Leadership Program. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio, brought to you by the wonderful folks at Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we're back on another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union here in the wonderful Mission Fed Credit Union studios and Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed's been doing just wonderful things for San Diegans for 60 years. Back with my friend Dana Bristol-Smith after a 10-year hiatus. So good to reconnect with Dana. She is founder and executive director of Leap to Success, joined by her colleague Brittany Dela-Cruz, graduate of Leap to Confidence and Transformation Leadership Program. Before we get back to Brittany on some things here, Dana, talk about are the programs free? How do people get involved? I know you work with 60 different groups you mentioned that are funneling folks to you. Now you're spreading your wings nationwide as well. But someone who's listening here and says, you know what, my daughter, my aunt, my sister, my whatever is in a situation similar to what Brittany's was, how do I get help?
For any woman who feels like they don't have the confidence to move forward in their lives, whether it's been a trauma or a crisis or a bad relationship, a divorce, a job loss, that's who Leap to Confidence is for. And I'm so grateful to the generous community of donors who make it possible for us to offer the program free to any woman who is ready to move forward and make that commitment and that investment in herself. The thing about women, one of the things about women is, we tend to take care of everybody else.
You do.
So it's like, when is my turn? And that's something that we talk about at the first session of the class because it's actually an orientation. And the women get to choose, am I ready to commit to myself? And by committing to myself, I'm going to, show up here 2 hours a week. I'm going to participate, and I'm going to get what I can from it. So our donors make that possible. Amazing local philanthropists who want to help women, help all women rise. So Leap to Confidence is available free, and women can even self-refer. So if you're listening right now, and this is something that you feel like could make a difference in your life, I want you to go to our Leap to Success website, leaptosuccess.org, click on the Leap to Confidence program, and you'll see how that you can reach out.
No, I think that's terrific, and I'm sure you'll agree to this, Brittany. And one of the things that makes Dana so successful, what she is, she just exudes the fact that you can trust her. We all know women and men for that situation, but mainly women who are in tough domestic challenges, so to speak. Who do they trust? Are you kidding me? The person I was supposed to trust has let me down, and for God's sake. So when you work with someone like Dana and her team, let me just see. I'm not quite sure yet. I got to, test the waters. So I'll start with you on Brittany. I'll let you add to that too. Talk about how important it is to gain the trust.
Oh, huge. Coming out of when I was living at the shelter, it was hard enough for me to trust my case manager. So walking in and taking the Leap to Confidence program was huge for me. The first day, I felt like I didn't know who to trust. But the minute you hear the stories and you're able to share and start working on yourself, all of that seems to shatter, and you realize that there is a community you can trust. It exists. And Leap to Success has beautifully expanded that amongst the entire group, the community of women, because they're so welcoming and there's no feeling of judgment. And that is key to being able to grow, is to know that it's okay to be vulnerable and share your life challenges and experiences, and to be able to share them boldly. And I'm proof of that. I've had other friends who've gone through the program and they're thriving. And when we started, we were so broken. It's amazing how different life could be. But yeah, these just so many dark places that I've heard, so many dark challenges, women who've just are living completely different lives, and it's beautiful. And that judgment no longer exists, is no longer holding them down. Yeah.
Well, not only is it beautiful for you personally and your network and your new family and your old family that's now back with your family, we're the beneficiaries of it. All the residents of San Diego County that have these women who are thriving now and doing great things, starting their own businesses or doing volunteering or whatever, which was something that was always in them, okay, but now it's been unlocked. And Dan, talk about how important that is. Just talk about that trust and the loyalty and so forth.
Yeah, well, I want to tell you what the kind of secret ingredients are to building trust.
Please.
So one of them is we're a trauma-informed team. We know that every woman walking through that door has experienced some sort of trauma. And there are things that we can say that are comforting, There are ways that we can speak that are inviting. We're not in a power dynamic sort of environment. We're in a very inclusive, warm environment, and all of our staff has been trained on how to be trauma-informed. Also, all of our Leap to Confidence programs are taught by a team, and that team includes a graduate instructor. So you will not be surprised, Drew, that starting next Monday, Brittany is joining our team as a graduate instructor.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So, and then when we wind up, convincing you guys to be doing your own podcast to get the word out nationally and all that business, and not to break any confidence rules and all that. That's not the idea of it. It's just as you know, I've been in media for a while, and to me, nothing more frustrating than I hear these words. God, I wish I would have known about this. Mm-hmm. And the same, I'm sure you hear the same thing. I wish I would have known about Leap to Success. Well, now you do. It's never too late. Now all the people that you know in that area, it's just so critical to get that word out. We're talking to Dana Bristol-Smith, founder and executive director of Leap to Success, joined by one of her star graduates, Brittany Dela-Cruz of the Leap to Confidence and Transformation Leadership Program, now going to be working very closely with you, Dana. That's a great program on this. Congratulations to your $300,000 grant. The fact that you can offer these programs, there's enough stress these women have without having to worry about the finances, and now you've taken that out of the mix and all this. So talk about Brittany, when you first are addressing women that have been in the situation you used to be, how do you get them to gain the confidence? Well, yeah, that worked for you, Brittany, but I'm not sure if it'll work for me.
You know what? Everyone is, when they're ready to come, at least they know where to go and where to turn to. Yeah. So being able to at least guide people and let them know that Leap to Confidence, the program works. I constantly harp because I know it works. But with Leap to Success, I let a lot. I've made some referrals, and a few of them have reached out. But I do think that a lot of women could take and learn from Leap to Success and Leap to Confidence, the program. So if any women are out there now and are looking for some of those tools to just, gain the confidence to take on challenges in life and really work through some things possibly made by trauma in the past, it's a great place to start, especially if you're at rock bottom and you have nothing else to lose.
Well, it hits it from so many different areas here. I'm preaching to the congregation, to you folks. But one, from a humanity standpoint, heaven forbid, we have empathy back in our system. God knows that thing went out, by the way, the dodo bird, and we need to bring that thing back in. And of course, you guys are all about empathy and so forth. But if nothing else, it's also about, economics. Think about what you folks are contributing when you're in this horrible situation before and held back for whatever reason. Okay, and multiply that by a lot of women, and now are thriving for whether you're doing your own businesses or you're working with Dana and all that business. And for nothing else, an economic aspect of it. Talk about that, Dana.
Oh, when you mention that, I think about one of our graduates, Marielle, who was also a resident of Becky's house originally and had left an abusive marriage with her 3 children in the middle of the night. And Marielle was probably back in 2011. And today, all 3 of her kids have graduated from San Diego State. Her daughter is now working for a social service agency as a social worker. And Marielle has her own business, catering events, doing beautiful floral arrangements. And, when you see a woman who in 2011 was hiding, was wearing a bandana on her head, was walking with her head down, was not making eye contact, but she walked in the door at Leap to Confidence, and she was ready for something different. And she sat there, and she took it all in, and she taught it to her children. So you talk about economic success, you talk about educational success. those 3 kids, I mean, the sky's the limit for what they're going to do now as graduates of San Diego State. So we see that over and over again. And, and it's not just young women. It's, yes, women in their 20s and their 30s, but mature women in their 50s and 60s. So, Drew, from what you said, it's never too late. It is never too late to have a new start. And Leap to Confidence shows us that over and over again.
Yeah. Like hunger, you always talk about this. Yes, it's important for groups like the food bank to thrive between Thanksgiving and the first of the year, but hunger doesn't stop on March 15 or July 2nd or August 3rd, and domestic violence doesn't stop after Domestic Violence Awareness Month and all that. It happens, and I don't have to tell Brittany this at all when you live in that area. So you've got to cut, the pedal to the metal. You guys have been doing it. You do it all the time, every single day, 24 hours a day in that aspect of it. I'll start with you on this, Brittany, and then pivot over to Dana. Any final comments you have for our listeners?
I'm so inspired by this program, and I just want other women or even family members and friends who do know of people or other women that are experiencing these types of traumas or are currently going through these challenges. Reach out to us, because there's so many resources that we have to offer, and all we can do is support those who are going through those challenges.
No, that sounds great, Dana.
Yeah, I think just final words, 2 things. Number 1, invest in creating the community that you want to live in. There are women who are hurting. There are families who are broken. And each person listening can make a difference, whether it's donating to Leap to Success at our website, whether it's supporting the food bank or Father Joe's Village is one of our community partners. Reach out, because every dollar and every person makes a difference in someone's lives. And we all have that power. And we don't have to be rich to do that, but it will enrich your life to know that you're contributing to making our world a better place for all of us.
Yeah, without question, what's the website one more time?
leaptosuccess.org. It's all spelled out. And if you know of any other organizations, locally or beyond, because we are spreading our wings and soaring across the country, make an introduction. Email me, reach out to me directly. I'm Dana, Dana, at leaptosuccess.org. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to meet you, and I'd love to invite you to support empowering women, because I can't think of a better way to make a difference in our community.
There was not a better way. So, Dana, it was so good to see you again after all these years. Promise you'll make a return appearance again?
I'd love to. Thank you, Drew.
And not wait 10 years?
Okay.
Okay, very, very good. Brittany, what an honor chatting with you. Congratulations on what you've done and now what you're going to be doing with Dana and some of the other folks on this, and would love to make the same offer to you as have you come back on somewhere down the road.
Thank you, Drew. Delighted to meet you. Thank you.
Absolutely. The pleasure was all ours. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing spectacular work for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.